Professor, my name is Dallas Meck. Ignore that. My name is Dallas Metcalf, and I am a student in your class. I wanted to let you know that both of my minor speeches are turned in. The reason that they were late is because my phone was broken. The front-facing camera, the lens broke. I went because Apple wanted to send it off for 2 weeks, and AT&T wanted me to pay $300 for a new phone. So I just got it fixed for $75. Well, taking apart my phone, he broke the wire for the screen itself. When he was taking it off, he broke it, and you have to replace the whole screen. So that actually took 2 weeks instead of 2 hours like it was supposed to. I have the receipt. I sent you a message in Canvas along with that receipt. I sent you 2 messages because I didn't know if you got the first, and I sent you 1 email because I know the best way to reach you is through Canvas. And I fell behind in my other classes. I fell behind in my law class, I fell behind in my English class, and I fell behind in public speaking class, and then my photography class. And I'm caught up in everything else. I just need to get caught up in yours. Both of them are turned in, and I want to let you know that they're in the grade. And the reason why my phone being broken is the reason why I was late on so many other assignments is because of Duo Security. Ever since it got hacked and you have to do confirmation through Duo Security, whenever I tried to log in on my computer, it made me go through Duo Security, and I had to get on my phone to press, to allow me to go in. And since I couldn't get on my phone, I was kind of out of luck for 2 weeks. But now it's in, I'm caught up, I'm submitting everything on time. Won't happen again as long as my phone doesn't break. Thank you so much. And I remember the assignment I did at the first part of the semester saying my plan for if my computer spontaneously combusted. Well, it was my phone. I didn't even take into consideration Duo Security on my phone. So thank you so much for understanding. You have yourself a great day. Right after this, I'm going to submit the actual assignment for this major speech. My name is Dallas Metcalf, and this is my speech on why culture should be shared. I'm here with my live audience.
Melanie Metcalf.
So culture is a very important part of our ass. It's a very important part of our ass. All right. My name is Dallas Metcalf, and this is my speech on why culture should be shared. I'm here with my live audience.
Melanie Metcalf.
So culture is an important building block to who we are as people and who we are as a society. It is deeply integrated into us whether we realize it or not. The values and the traditions that we partake in, it makes us who we are, and it helps build society, and it's a very important part of the foundation of society. So America is amazing, and the society is almost unique because we are what is considered a melting pot society. When pilgrims first came over, it wasn't just one group or another group. It was all these different groups. And when you take a tradition from here, you take a value from here, you take a food from here, and you put it into a pot, stir it up, what do you get? You get what is American society. It's not specifically one, it's all these groups combined into one. And that's what makes American society so unique. So the point of this speech is people are softer nowadays, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but when it comes to culture, it is, because when you are afraid to share something that is meant to be shared out of fear of cultural appropriation, then the entire point of culture is then obsolete and it doesn't matter. So in an article published by Mess Press, 59% of Americans are soft, and that is what other Americans think. Out of everyone they polled, on a scale of 1 to 10, it averaged out to be 59%. So, in this case, as I mentioned before, sensitive is bad because when you are overly sensitive and you are stopping something that is meant to be shared, you unintentionally segregate society, because instead of having all these groups that function together coherently, you have all these separate groups that are afraid to interact out of fear of cultural appropriation. So think of it like asking someone out. You find someone, you think they're a perfect 10 out of 10, but yet you are afraid to ask them. And then you never know what happens because you were afraid to ask. That is culture. Let's say there's this culture that really piques your interest and you want to find out more about it, but you don't want to come off as cultural appropriation. So you don't ask, then you never know. So in an article published by Mess Press, around the same time frame as the one from Pew Research, it's Pew Research, 6 out of 10 people are racist. That's what Americans think. Americans think that 60% of people are racist, and culture is essentially race. They are one and the same. They all have values, they all have traditions, and you need to respect them, but you also need to be able to share them. So Culture is pride. People are very prideful in their culture, whether it's clothes, whether it's traditions and holidays, food, instruments, whatever you name. It's a very important part of culture, and people are proud of it. Think of Dias de los Muertos. It is a Mexican holiday, and people go parading in the streets. There are orange flowers everywhere. It's a day where you can see your dead loved ones, or rather, they can see you. It is a very important holiday to all of Hispanic culture. Another thing is language. Language is the biggest barrier, but there are two universal languages out there. One is body expressions. You can be happy, you can be sad, you can be all these things, and people will understand where you're coming from. The other universal language is food. According to New York Post, 76% of Americans think that the best way culture is shared is through food. And I mean, think about it. Think about your hometown. There is a Chinese place. There is a taco truck. There is a burger joint. All these foods are from different cultures. And tasting what other cultures make, that's a great way to share culture, because all of us have to eat. Humans have to eat because we are, in fact, alive. And if we want to stay alive, we have to eat. And what better way to share culture than the spices, the type of food you make? Just share it with people. And think of those nature documentaries you see. You see journalists go to these tribes in Africa, and it could be a fish wrapped in seaweed, or it could be a cricket on a stick. Whatever it is weird to the journalists, but it is normal to the people who inhabit that village. And even though they don't speak the same language, they have common ground with food. They are very proud of their food, whether the journalists like it or not, because taste is unique to every one of us. What might be disgusting to me is not disgusting to you. I might think tomatoes are disgusting. You might like tomatoes. It's what we like, and that's what is important, because culture, as I said before, is meant to be shared. And what better way to share it than through food? Because we all like food. Come on. So when you take something that is meant to be shared, similar to culture, and you create an environment and a society that you are afraid to share, it just, there's a hard way to put it into words, but basically you are unable to share, which unintentionally messes with all of society as a whole, because when you take one of the major building blocks of society out, society is going to fall. So if you take out people's ability to communicate, especially in a country like America where you don't have one language, yes, you might have the government language, but there is a big chunk of the population that speaks Spanish. There's another chunk of the population that speaks an Asian language, a European language. There's all these other languages. In order to properly communicate, you need to be able to share culture, and you can do that through means of food, traditions, and holidays. But when you are afraid to share culture out of fear of cultural appropriation and fear of being ridiculed and frankly canceled, then that is bad for society as a whole. Thank you for listening to my speech.